Hello and welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. This is part 1 of 2. This build has no business being 2 parts, but I got a lot of footage and I'm very attached to this build, so we're going to see it all. I have been kind of affectionately calling this house the Pinterest house. For no other reason than I was inspired by a lot of things I saw on Pinterest. It's a style I don't usually do. Some of it I think is executed really well, some of it I think could use some love, but that's the joy of The Sims, is we can come back and renovate it whenever we want. I already have a growing list of houses that I want to go back and renovate, just because now that I do this channel, I have an excuse to build almost every day. I think I build probably 6 days a week. Sometimes it's only for 10 to 15 minutes if that's only the time I have. Sometimes it's for a couple hours. But it turns out very much is like a muscle, and the more you work it, the more you learn things and get to play with things, and it's a lot of fun. And so there's a lot of houses I want to go back and kind of fix now, or just renovate, change up or whatever. And I think I would bet you 2380 that in 2 or 3 months this is going to be one of those houses. But I really like the way it looked. I had a couple of goals going in. I wanted white and black exterior. It turned out okay. It's not quite what I was envisioning, but in The Sims I think it was the best that I personally could do right now, so I'm okay with it. I wanted a white and black exterior. I wanted railings to peek over in the front, so in the foyer. You don't really notice it actually you might notice it in game if you played quite a bit. There's peekaboos from the second floor to the first floor. I wanted space for lots of kids. They're a blended family. I'm actually off in the distance exporting their footage, so if it sounds like there's a rocket taking off next to the mic, it's because there is. My laptop is trying to take off. Because I'm trying to do way too many things at once on this computer. But I finally have a free moment. My plans got changed today, and I was like, I can record voiceovers, which finding time lately has been intense. So I'm trying really hard to do the I'm an adult who can do work-life balance things, but I'm also totally a pushover who will work far too many hours in a day and not. I will always jump in and help somebody, and then I'm like, oh, I've been here 16 hours, no wonder I'm really cranky. Anyways, point being, I actually don't remember what the point was anymore. Oh, trying to do too many things at once, that's what, anyways. But the family here, good grief, I walked a long way to get there. The point that was originally supposed to be made is the family here is a blended family, so I needed space for a lot of kids. Also, talk about the drama in those clouds. It was raining for a lot of this build. This build is also going to be kind of disjointed because, I started it in January. It is currently March 10th. While I'm sitting here recording this voiceover, it was one of those that I did a little each day. That was a dramatic sunset too. You don't always notice these things when you're building. Holy cow, what a pretty world. Anyways, but it sat a lot. It got put off to the side quite a bit. Also, it's a style that I'm getting better at, but I was trying to be more minimal about it, and I was trying to be a little bit more like Pinterest farmhousey about it. And I think what ended up happening is it kind of it got a little bit to a point where I was like, I'm stumped. And so I ended up setting it aside quite often in favor of other builds. Also, the lighting on this lot was just a little bit weird for doing the outside, so this video is probably a little disjointed because there's a few times within this video where you'll see you can clearly tell that the game, some time has passed since the last time in game, because they're we'll jump between it pouring rain and storming and really sunny and all kinds of different things. So I don't know how much, I can't remember now off the top of my head, now that I've seen this. There is some brick with this house as well, but I knew those windows were going to be it because of the black detailing on the glass and stuff. And there is a couple places in this house where there's sort of useless alcoves carved out for either chimneys or just because it didn't quite work. Also, the kids' bathroom upstairs is giant. It could really be its own bedroom, but then there wasn't enough bathrooms. So the layout of this house is funky. You can tell that I definitely did the whole outside and then was like, oh shoot, people have to live here too. So, but I really like the way this house took out. This house, when I exported the footage, so it's sped up I think 8 times, because much more than that and it gets super flashy. I think this is 8 times. There was 18 hours of footage. And I cut a lot out. I did try to cut some out, but I wanted you to be able to see too, because there's a lot of little details and stuff. Also, this house won't be going up on the gallery for a little while. because I have to fix it, because I went in to take screenshots, and my game has been doing this thing. It's been doing a couple different things, which is really weird since Sims Delivery came out, and I'm sure it's just a patch that needs to happen. But one is occasionally walls just won't paint. It'll just stop painting walls, and then there's nothing you can do. I have to shut the computer completely down because I can't even just like force close the game, nuke all the files, and come back. It still will be a problem until the next time I restart the computer. But the other problem, and that did happen in this house a couple of times, the other problem is, for some reason, the game will get to a point, and it doesn't seem to be an amount of objects thing, because first of all, it's more recently, and I've built builds with lots of objects, but this has happened in a few different houses too, including a tiny house, so I don't think it's an objects thing, but the game will get to a point where you cannot do anything without it deleting like all of the clutter in the house. You can't click your mouse, you can't paint a wall, you can't drag the camera around. It will just start deleting things. That happens several times in this house, so the color looks different in the screenshots than it does in the build, and it'll probably look a little bit different on the gallery, because while I do my best to try to like keep it together, when it deletes everything, there's a point where it's like, I don't remember where everything is, and I'm not going to Sherlock Holmes it and go through every image to make sure it's, spot on. I simply do not have the time or the patience or sanity for something like that. But I really like the way the outside of this house turned out. I was getting really nervous because I tend to like to do single story bump outs on a 2-story house so that there's lots of texture and layer, kind of like that one over there. And the front and back of this house don't really have that, except for that little like big window situation. And so I was really worried, but I like the way it turns out. I think it looks pretty realistic-ish, as realistic as The Sims can be. I spent far too long with those little like roof holdy things. It's a technical term because I can't remember what they're called. But yeah, the outside of the house I really like. The landscaping, I think, is pretty minimal and adds to it as well when we get to that. That won't be till the end. I also was having weird camera issues. That stopped pretty quickly on. I think that was the result of something that got changed in an update. But for a while I was having some weird camera acceleration issues. It's mostly gone away. So like I said, I think it was probably introduced and fixed in a couple of patches. And this build, it went through a lot of patches because it took forever. It had no right taking as long as it took. And like I said, I did walk away from it a couple of times. And this build also suffered for a while from I just noticed, I think that window's crooked. Oh no. It's okay, I'll fix it before it goes up in the gallery. I've got other things to fix in it too. This house also suffered from the fact that it was kind of grouped in with a couple other builds. Around the time I started this build, I had like 8 builds go sour on me, which some of it's because I'm a perfectionist and some of it's just because I'm inept. But the basic problem I was having is I had a lot of ideas that just simply didn't pan out in The Sims. Like I wanted to do a center chimney house, sort of like Plymouth Rock style, and I wanted to do a couple different house styles that simply just aren't they're achievable in The Sims. Like you can do anything in The Sims, but they don't look great. I've talked about this a lot, where the sins of real life, you can't, there's things you can do in real life with a house that are more easily forgiven than in The Sims. For example, you can just put windows willy-nilly on the side of a house because pretty much all that matters is the livability inside. Nobody's going to question it. It's a side yard. In The Sims, it matters because you're going to stare at it, If a roof is a little wonky in real life, people are just like, it's a weird looking house, and they move on with their lives. If a roof is wonky in The Sims, you're going to do nothing but think about it for a while. I believe that was a pretty big cut there because I almost died over the layout. We talked about this before. So this house features, 1, 2, 3, 4 bedrooms set up as bedrooms, but you could have up to 6 bedrooms. Currently I have 4 bedrooms, a den, and a craft space, as well as a formal living room, an upstairs family room, the kitchen, the dining, a laundry space, 1, 2, 3 full baths, and 1 half bath, I think. Oh goodness, that's a little flashy, I apologize. So the 3 younger boys share a room for right now. The 2 older girls share a room for right now. Grandma's downstairs, and then the master bedroom. And then there's a den for the dad because he's a computer geek, and I believe in that career you can work from home occasionally. The tech career. And then the mom, we ended up doing fashion because I couldn't decide what to do in that, but in a house this size I wanted a flex space. So I set it up as a fashion studio, like she's a famous fashion designer or something, but you could set it up as anything. A cupcake machine or anything could really go in there. It's just a matter of, oh yeah, this was me deciding chimneys and their placement mattered for some reason in this house, even though it's never mattered to me before. Anyways, I said basically the idea behind that room, while it's styled kind of weirdly for fashion, is actually just a flex space for you to put skill building items. I wanted a skill building room because I feel like once you get to this size house, you really need it. This video is sped up a lot, and unfortunately it does make the video a little bit wild to watch. It gets a little bit better for furnishing. I do sit a lot longer in furnishing. Yeah, this was me running out of money. Shh, it's fine. This house is stupid expensive as well. So this is, it could be a rags to riches house if you wanted to suffer in that way. But realistically, probably a mother-lode cheat house. This is where I got stumped too, and I ended up leaving it for a while because this room still does not quite have the vibes I wanted. And I think it's just a matter of I stared too long at Pinterest, and then because I don't use CC, couldn't find quite the items I was looking for. I think there's maybe some items in other packs and stuff that would be helpful. This is the bathroom I'm talking about. Oh, we just jumped down. But the upstairs above Grandma's room, that's the bathroom I'm talking about. That's freaking huge. Could actually be another bedroom if you can work out where to put another bathroom. But I felt like we needed a bathroom. The upside to that is 5 children share that bathroom. So I was able to split it up where the toilet is in a separate room. The shower / bath is in a separate room. So you could have someone showering and still use the bathroom. You could have someone showering, brushing their teeth, and someone could still be using the bathroom. So that's nice. So it does almost sort of kind of ish function. Ouch. Just bumped my hand. As multiple bathrooms. But there's a full bath downstairs for Grandma because she's got kind of her own wing of the house. There's a laundry room and the half bath, which faces forward for guests. And then the master has a huge bathroom as well. And actually, I believe, staring at this now, the layout might change slightly. I think I left it and came back. Unclear. Oh yeah, this was me trying to figure out. I will admit, I don't think I filled out the walls super well. I'm still not great at art. I'm working on it. It's a learnable skill, I'm convinced. So Watson just moved. I don't know if you could hear him grumble a little bit. He agrees. Art is a learnable skill. Yeah, I put French doors in those rooms. Because I thought it was cute because they're dens and stuff. If you wanted them to be bedrooms, I would suggest maybe putting non-glass doors in there. And then in the kids' room, they have a fireplace in both kids' rooms and not in the parents' room. That's also something that annoys me about this house. And there's one in the den and not in Grandma's room. I really I really should have thought this layout out more. This is, like I said, this is a contender for potentially, being remodeled. I think what I needed to do was build this house, like I have done, and then stare at it, because it's sometimes easier to picture what you would change than to stare at an empty box and figure out how it would go. But I knew I wanted a foyer, and I wanted that cut out. I wanted the family room open to the rest of the house like that. Now, admittedly, in real life, that would be supremely loud with all of these floors, hardwood floors and stuff, and it would drive everybody bonkers, just absolutely nuts. But I liked the idea of it, and I wanted to try it. And because this was a fully 2-story house with very little roof peeking in, I was able to do it without having that roof glitch, which almost never happens. Almost never happens. I think I've talked about this before in videos, but my aunt and uncle live in a farmhouse about 8 hours away from me, and they have a really unique layout. It's really pretty. It has like a, I don't even know what you would call it, but there's basically like a bridge on their second story, so that the whole living space can be vaulted ceilings, except for this one little bit that basically functions as a hallway. But the problem is that I can't build their house because of the roof glitch. Because it's all vaulted ceilings, which unfortunately means that with that little bridge, all of the roof breaks, and it's so annoying. This build really made me want to figure out how to do CC pillows. Like, just take the pillows off that couch and put them on that couch. And I know you can use dining room chairs, but then it's not always as functional. And to me, like, I totally respect people who just build art pieces. Fantastic. I have done the doll houses. They are incredibly fun because you can do all kinds of normal things. When I'm building a complete house, my brain won't let me build something that's not functional, you know? Mad respect to those people who build these like pretty art pieces that are so cool, and you look at that and you go, is that even The Sims? Holy cow. But I personally struggle with that as a concept, so I can't put like the dining chairs in for pillows and stuff. But I just want to rip the pillows off that one couch and put them other places. And I'm convinced I can do it with Sims 4 Studio and Blender. I'm convinced if I was just a little bit smarter, I could do it. And so I'm gonna learn. It's just a matter of finding time, because like, I like Blender, but it's complicated. And you know, when you do math for a living for 8 hours a day, sometimes you don't want to do 3D math for fun. And Blender to me just feels like 3D math. It's just trying to figure out how to work in a 3D plane with 2D, you know, like maneuverability. And it just breaks my brain a little bit. It's the same reason why, well, not the only reason, it's the same reason why every time I think I'm gonna sit down and make a video game, I end up going, do I really want to make this game 3D? And then I give up. Because it's complicated. And I know if it was worth it, like, I would do it, but that was a long-winded way of saying I'm brain dead after a work day, whichever one is, Amanda. It's something new and exciting. I love the newer textures on this couch. They happened eons ago, so calling them new is like kind of a misnomer, but where you can actually really see the texture on the couch and stuff, it's so pretty. I wish it was on more colors. That's another thing you could fix with Sims 4 Studio, I bet, is take that newer texture and apply it to all of the old colors. One day I'm gonna like actually work on them for more than a minute. So what I do is I open Sims Studio, I do all this cool stuff, and I go, that's super cool, and then I close the window because I don't want to get used to building with it, because I don't want to build with something on the channel that you guys can't use. And there's no way I'm comfortable pushing that right now. Sorry if I just sounded distracted, I just got a DM from work. Which, actually, let me wiggle my mouse and see. We're about halfway through the video. Shh, we'll finish the video first, it's fine. But yeah, so I'm not comfortable pushing CC up, and I don't want to build something that you guys can't use. That was the point I was making. I got really distracted by work there. I apologize. That's the point I've been making, is work is kind of crazy busy and in my life, which, I mean, it's meant to. But I've been at work. I actually put in like actual working at work hours. I put in like 9 today, which is not a big deal at all. That's pretty standard. But I've had the screen open to be available because I'm training new people. I've now been available for like almost 12 for questions and things, which is not a big deal, except for it's looking very much like I'm gonna have to go pop into another huddle, which is cool. It's all good. It's training new people. It's fine. People trained me when I was new. So, it just makes for a long day sometimes. That was me struggling really hard to figure out, the lantern in here, not lantern, the chandelier in here. I was really struggling with it, and I don't even remember what I put in here now. Actually, no, I don't. I think, was it those little guys? Yeah, we'll see in a minute. We'll see in a minute. There's a few places, where the lighting is a little funky, because I don't think there's any that are actually meant to completely correct your stories. There's some that are meant to do, like, the different wall heights, but there's none I think they're meant to be 2 stories, so you have to size them up, and then it's weird because it wants to hook to the lower floor instead of the higher floor, so it makes it a little bit funkier, but we got there. But yeah, so this is one of those houses where it's like, I don't know if when they created these tools, if they meant for me to do something like this. I liked, give it a minute, it gets there. I liked this collage. It's not there yet. I love that they gave us all these people. I didn't end up using all of these people. I ended up cutting it down pretty small, but I love that they gave us all these people. There's so many good options. It's lovely. It's lovely, and it did help fill up this wall a little bit. Now, admittedly, if you look at this wall from the second floor, it's pretty bland, but you probably won't a lot, so it's okay. And maybe someone smarter than me can find a big piece of art that would go there. But again, a lot of our art is definitely not made to span across 2 stories, so this part annoys me. I knew what I wanted here, and I was not able to achieve it. And what I wanted was a big ol' like piece of furniture and like a warm, cozy foyer entrance, and it just didn't happen. And I finally just had to settle for fine, because I'll show, like, you'll see some of my attempts here. Just know that there was so much more off camera that it just didn't happen. It just didn't come out the way I wanted it to. It wasn't the statement that I wanted it to be. I fought with wallpaper for a while too, because I thought, oh, a statement wallpaper would be really cool, and I still stand by that. Could not find a statement wallpaper that I wanted, and I wanted most of the interior to be white until we got upstairs, because I wanted the downstairs to look very curated. It mostly got there because I imagined both parental Sims having clients in the house if necessary. I don't know if Grandma would, but I know the Grandma would probably have guests at the very least. Like, she'd have people come hang out, and so I wanted the downstairs to be like, look, this is an entertainment space and a lovely space to be and very curated, and the upstairs is like, kids go wild, go for it, have fun, play, do your thing, which you can see because there's a lot of brighter colors and stuff up there. See, it's okay, like, it's fine. It's just not my most favorite foyer ever. I think some of it too is the yellow lighting while I was working on it and stuff. It does look a little bit better in the screenshots. Again, the clutter is different because it disappeared like 4 and 5 times, which is super annoying. I don't think I'll ever get the clutter quite back right. Maybe now that I'm watching this, I'll have a better idea where things go. But also, what's the word I'm looking for? Landscaping kept clipping through on this build, so there's a lot of landscaping that I need to fix. After I was taking screenshots and I was going through and I was like, that's another plant. I was having issues with it popping up on the foundation quite a bit, and I didn't catch it all. And it's so funny, you go blind to certain things. Like, you're like, you go through and you're like, this house is perfect, and then as soon as you're looking through those screenshots, you're like, who let me finish this house? Who said this was acceptable? Who signed off on this? It was me, and it was a poor choice. I love this den though. This den is super cute, and this house will be all put together for y'all when it goes up. Like, it'll be there probably, or you'll never see it because I'll just lose the battle with the clutter. Or you'll get like a shell and I'll be like, here, this is the best I could do. No, but in all seriousness, it'll be fixed up before I put it up in the gallery. I know I say this every time. I am in the process of now going through. Now the situation is, I need to figure out. I think I got the gallery working. Yay. It was just super unhappy with my internet, and it probably will still be for a while because I'm on radio internet because I live out on a farm. But I think I got it working, so now it's a matter of going through and figuring out what needs to go up, because basically everything, well, I don't know. I was gonna say everything that's on the channel needs to go up, but I don't know if y'all care about the doll houses and stuff. Maybe you do? Maybe I should put it up anyway. But, and then I need to go, because I have a lot of it saved to my library, but not my gallery. I need to go through and name it something other than this stupid house, or I just need this saved, right? Like, I have not been particularly creative with my save names, so I need to go through and like actually name it according to the video, and then push it up and get it going, which is gonna take a while. I have a Trello board. So I had a Trello board, and then I had a Trello board before I had internet, and so it got to be really annoying to try to update, because I was trying to do it on my phone, which is not ideal, and so I gave up on it, so it got super outdated and behind. And then I went to go like mess with it, and everything was screwed up because they changed a bunch of like the free tier stuff, which I'm not complaining, it's their prerogative, they're allowed to, but so like all of my stuff got messed up. So I just was like, screw it, and I rebuilt it. but I haven't added all the data back in now, so now I need to go through and add all the data, which is, it's nice in some way, because like with the changes, I've redone the fields now, and it's actually infinitely more useful. But I don't want to go add, I think we're up to like 60 something videos, which I don't know at the time of recording this if they're all live at the moment, but I know there's 60 some odd videos somewhere between scheduled and up on the channel. Like, that's a lot of information. And I'm trying to future-proof it a little bit, because while I really love Sims content, I would like to put some non-Sims content on this channel as well. I have ideas and plans even. Admittedly, it has to wait till I figure out the audio situation. But I do have plans, and I'm very excited about those. So I was trying to future-proof the board a little bit too, because I don't want to have a board for each like type of video. I want it to work for both like Sims builds and anything else we end up doing. And so, like, trying to get a system that works for that, I had to redo it a couple of times. And so I have like some test data in there, but I need to add all the bit videos. It got big fast. I wanted to do a channel for so long, and I was like so spooked to for so long, and then I finally just, with, I don't know, September 2020, I think it was, I was finally like, you know what, it doesn't matter, no one's gonna watch these, I can just have a lot of good fun and just post nonsense, right? And it's so much fun. But just being comfortable with making bad videos, all of the sudden I'm like, wow, I posted a lot of videos. It went from, wow, my first video is up, to holy cow, there's a lot of videos on this channel really fast. And like, yeah, you know, I mean, the running joke is, well, it doesn't count if you don't have subscribers. I don't care, my dudes. I mean, I love you guys, don't get me wrong. I'm just having such a great time doing something 13-year-old Amanda was so excited to do. The only thing that would potentially make 13-year-old Amanda happier, because she was not as into The Sims as 25-year-old Amanda is, 13-year-old Amanda would dig a Minecraft Let's Play. 25-year-old Amanda isn't sure, like, I'm not real sure that I would have patience for Minecraft Let's Play, but also, just, I've never beaten that game by myself, like, I've never done the dragon by myself, so maybe one day we'll do that, I don't know. Anyways, point being, like, I'm so excited to just be doing this. It's so fun. It's just, and hey guys, Editing Amanda here. I just want to pop in because I don't think I explained myself super well in this part. I absolutely appreciate all you guys do for me. I love the subscriptions and the likes and the comments. It makes my whole day, makes my whole week sometimes. I adore it. I love interacting with you guys. The point I was trying to make, though, is that I'm also just very internally proud, because like teenage Amanda would not have been brave enough to put videos online, but wanted to really bad, and even like early 20s young adult Amanda wasn't quite brave enough to do that. So the fact that I've gotten to a point where I'm confident enough to put videos out is very exciting. That's the whole point I was trying to make. I love you guys. I wasn't trying to discount that at all. It kind of holds me like pseudo accountable too, because I have a bad habit of not indulging in hobbies because I don't feel like I've earned it, which is just dumb. But so I'll do things like, oh, well, I only worked, 10 hours today at work. Really, do I deserve to play a video game? But now when I'm having one of those bad brain thoughts and I'm not able to fix it, I can be like, but the channel. But the channel. See all this cute clutter? It's different now because it got wiped out. And it's not even in like a bad place, right? Like I would get it if I had like sunk it in a counter or something, but I didn't. And like I get the one little flower, right? Like there's a flower that goes in that cup. That made sense that it kept disappearing. I was like, okay, fine. It's like directly competing with something else. So the fact that this keeps going away is fine. But I don't. And there was things, excuse me, voice crack. There was things that like were actually snapped to a counter like it's supposed to be legitimately, and they were still disappearing. You can't see this because I don't face cam. I'm gesturing wildly as though very frustrated. Yeah, gesturing wildly because it's super annoying how often that disappeared, and I don't even know if enough of it made it into the screenshots at this point, but I was just like, get it done. Don't get it. I don't get it was such a problem. I did try to do some built-ins here. It looks okay. I'm okay with it. This is not the final. This is not. I think I ended up putting a piece of furniture here. Or is this how it was? No, I was gonna say, I think it's a little bit different. But I do like the way this little dining area came out. It's pretty cute. In the screenshots, there's a lot of landscaping. Lots of landscaping. So, and I've been playing around with like trying to make these collages and stuff because the walls are so big. And it kind of looks gray in here, but it's white in game. It's kind of funny too. I've noticed one of my monitors is going blue. But it's supposed to be a true tone. So I don't really know what's going on with it. So like there's been times where I've been really annoyed with a build and I'm like, it's so gray and sad. It's not though. It's just this particular monitor seems to be going blue, which is I think why sometimes in my screenshots I'm like, whoa, why is everything suddenly so orange? Because I'm like correcting for a blue tone that doesn't actually exist. Goodness, things are popping off at work. I have Slack open off to the side because like I said, I'm training, and so every once in a while I look over and I'm just like, good land, that's a lot of notifications. Oh goodness gracious. The downside of being an adult who's trying to steal a little bit of her free time back. I love that hutch. I don't use the hutches in this game enough because there's some really cute ones in here and I just don't think about them. They're not in a place where I see them very often, which is quite sad because I love me a good hutch. It's a good piece of furniture. I actually am looking for one in real life, like a tiny hutch, because when you walk into my room, my space is, there's a bank of closets. There's 2 closets with like fancy French doors. They're very cute, but they stick out into the room because they didn't exist in the room to start. They're an addition that like 2 or 3 owners ago they said put in. I have the whole detail of this house. It's amazing. Like when I moved in, they were like, congrats, you're taking over. Here's all of the previous owner's information. Anyways, but they bumped it out so that they could have closets, which I have then subsequently turned it into something completely different, but whatever. And so when you walk into my room, you walk straight into a wall, and it's like I think almost 2 feet between where the door opens, where it needs space, where it needs clearance, and the wall, and then it's like a weird like 2 2/3 foot wide. And so I want to put a hutch there so I can have like a place for my keys, and I'd like to put some books in there because I have like reference books for the horses and stuff, and I'd love to have like a place to hang like a scarf and stuff. But I've only found one hutch so far that would fit there because it was such a weird dimension. And this hutch was $2,000, and I was like, no, thank you. I am looking at maybe $200 if it's perfect, not $2,000. Holy cow. And so it's been a little bit of a struggle. The other thing too is I was looking, I think I was on Wayfair a while ago or something. They have like bits and bobs where it's like, this is not a full thing, and there's been some interesting sizes in there. So I've been thinking maybe I can just build my own thing. Before wood prices got insane, my sweet dad and brother were going to build me one. So here's screenshots, going back to the build for a minute. This is a little bit of a spoiler alert because the outside shots were taken after the landscaping is done. The landscaping will be in part 2, and you can see some of the upstairs, which we don't cover in here. But I think I got the screenshots right for just what you saw, and the rest of the screenshots will be on the next video, which will be coming out next week. Hope you're as excited as I am. The upstairs is, in my opinion, even cooler than the downstairs, but I hope you enjoyed. I'll leave you to the screenshots. I hope you're having a fantastic day, and I will talk to y'all very, very soon.